Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome. It's truly a pleasure to see you all here today. I'm excited to share with you some fascinating information about a natural path to better health and comfort in our golden years. Now, I want you to think for a moment about that word, golden years. It's supposed to represent a time of relaxation, enjoyment, and reaping the rewards of a long life. But for many of us, this time can also be accompanied by some unwelcome guests, those familiar aches and pains, the stiffness in our knees when we stand up, or the discomfort in our hands that makes simple tasks a little more challenging. If you've ever felt that, please know that you are far from alone. These feelings are often the result of something called chronic inflammation, a silent issue that becomes more common as we age. But what if nature offered us a gentle, supportive hand? What if there was a way to address this inflammation that didn't only rely on the medicine cabinet, but could also come from the garden? That's exactly what we'll be exploring today. We're going to talk about a remarkable tropical fruit called the Soursop, also known as graviola. This isn't about a magical cure or a complicated scientific formula. This is about understanding a traditional, natural food that is packed with compounds which science is now showing can help calm the fires of inflammation in our bodies. Over the next little while, we'll learn what Soursop is, how its powerful components work inside us to soothe aches, and most importantly, how we can incorporate it safely and effectively into our lives. Our goal is not to replace any medical advice you follow, but to empower you with knowledge about a natural option that can work alongside your current health practices. So, thank you again for your time. I invite you to sit back, relax, and let's embark on this journey together towards understanding how we can support our bodies naturally, so we can all get back to fully enjoying the richness of our golden years. Now, before we can appreciate how Soursop helps, we need to understand what we're dealing with. Our slide title calls inflammation a double-edged sword, and that's the perfect place to start. Because inflammation isn't always the villain it's made out to be. In fact, your body uses it as a vital, life-saving tool every single day. Let's talk about the good edge of this sword. Think back to the last time you had a small cut, a minor burn in the kitchen, or even a twisted ankle. What happened? The area became red, warm, swollen, and maybe a bit painful. That, my friends, is acute inflammation. It's your body's magnificent, rapid response emergency team rushing to the scene. Those white blood cells and healing compounds are like paramedics and construction crews, working together to wall off the injury, fight any potential germs, and start the repair process. This is a short-term, targeted, and absolutely essential process. Without it, a simple paper cut could become a major problem. So, we should be grateful for this kind of inflammation. However, the problem for many of us, particularly as we age, is the second edge of that sword, chronic inflammation. This is where the body's emergency response system doesn't fully shut off. Instead of a short, sharp, healing mission, it becomes a slow, smoldering, low-grade fire that burns throughout the body for weeks, months, or even years. It's not localized like a cut, it's a system-wide issue. And this is the key point I want us to understand today. This chronic, silent inflammation is not something you typically feel in a dramatic way. You don't necessarily see the redness or feel the heat. Instead, it manifests as the very things we often dismiss as just part of getting older. That persistent stiffness in your knees or hips when you first get out of bed in the morning. That could be chronic inflammation at work in the joints. The general itchiness that seems to have taken up residence, or the feeling of being more fatigued than you think you should be. These can all be signs of this underlying inflammatory process. Why does this matter so much for us as seniors? Because medical research has now clearly linked this chronic, low-grade inflammation to many of the health challenges we hope to avoid or manage. It's a significant contributor to the pain and stiffness of arthritis. It plays a role in heart disease by damaging blood vessels. It's even connected to cognitive decline. So, managing this silent fire isn't just about feeling more comfortable today. It's about investing in our long-term health and vitality. The good news is that by understanding this difference, we can now explore how natural options, like the Soursop fruit, can help us dampen that second, problematic edge of the sword, the chronic inflammation, while still allowing our bodies to perform their essential, acute healing. Now that we understand the challenge of chronic inflammation, let me introduce you to a remarkable potential ally. It's not a new, synthetic drug from a lab, but a gift from nature itself. Please direct your attention to the screen and allow me to introduce you to the Soursop fruit. What you're seeing here is a fruit that might be unfamiliar to some, but in many parts of the world, it's a beloved staple. On the outside, it's certainly distinctive, a large, heart-shaped fruit with a dark green skin that's covered in soft, flexible spines, almost like a prehistoric avocado or a delicate, armored shell. But the real magic is hidden on the inside. When you cut it open, you find a stunning contrast, a beautiful, creamy white pulp that's soft and fibrous, dotted with shiny black seeds. The texture is often compared to a combination of a strawberry and a pineapple, but it's truly in a class of its own. And the taste? Well, that's where it gets its name, guanabana in Spanish, or simply Soursop. The flavor is a complex and delightful tropical symphony. People often describe it as a mix of strawberry and pineapple, with a surprising hint of citrusy sourness, hence Soursop, balanced by an underlying creamy sweetness that reminds some of coconut or bananas. It's a refreshing and unique taste experience. But here's what's truly important for our discussion today. This isn't just a delicious fruit that appeared on the health scene recently. For centuries, in the tropical regions of the Americas where it originates, like the Amazon rainforest and later across Africa and Southeast Asia, every part of this tree has been used in traditional folk medicine. Indigenous healers and local communities have long valued not just the fruit, but also the leaves, the bark, and even the roots for their wide-ranging wellness properties. They've used it to support calmness, aid digestion, and, most relevantly for us, to help soothe aches and pains, what we now understand as reducing inflammation. This long history of traditional use is like a powerful testament, a clue that modern science is now actively investigating. And this leads to a practical question: how do you actually consume it? The good news is there are several accessible ways. The most direct is to simply enjoy the sweet and sour creamy pulp fresh, scooping it right out of the skin. But it's also commonly blended into deliciously smooth and nutritious juices, milkshakes, and smoothies. For a more therapeutic approach, the leaves are dried and steeped to make a fragrant, herbal tea. You might also find it in concentrate forms or as a dietary supplement. This versatility means that there's likely a way for everyone to incorporate Soursop into their routine, which we'll explore a bit later. So, this isn't just a fruit, it's a traditional remedy with a fascinating appearance and taste, waiting to be rediscovered for our modern needs. So, we've met this fascinating fruit. We know what it looks like, what it tastes like, and that it has a long history of use. But this naturally leads to a very important question. What is it inside the Soursop that actually does the work? What is this power within that can help us with inflammation? Think of it this way. If the Soursop were a pharmacy, it wouldn't just have one single medicine on its shelves. Instead, it would be a complete wellness apothecary, stocked with a powerful combination of natural compounds that all work together. The key players we need to know about are called antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. Now, I know those can sound like complicated scientific terms, but please don't let that worry you. Their job is actually quite simple to understand. Let's break it down. First, we have a very special group of compounds called acetogenins. These are particularly interesting because they are somewhat unique to the Soursop family of plants. Think of acetogenins as highly specialized managers. In laboratory studies, they have shown a remarkable ability to help regulate cellular processes that are involved in inflammation, essentially telling overactive inflammatory cells to calm down. Then we have alkaloids. You might be familiar with these without even knowing it. The caffeine in your morning coffee is an alkaloid. In the Soursop, the alkaloids act like the body's own internal communication system. They can interact with our nervous system and our immune system, helping to send signals that reduce the perception of pain and modulate the inflammatory response. They are the messengers that help soothe the body. And finally, we have flavonoids. These are the true superhero antioxidants found in many colorful fruits and vegetables. If we go back to our analogy of inflammation being a slow, smoldering fire inside the body, then flavonoids are the firefighters. Their primary job is to neutralize what are called free radicals. You can think of free radicals as the tiny, destructive sparks that fly off from that smoldering fire. These sparks cause damage to our healthy cells, a process known as oxidative stress, which in turn fuels more inflammation. Flavonoids rush in and essentially douse these sparks before they can cause more harm. So, when you put it all together, it's not about one magic bullet. It's about this powerful, natural teamwork. The acetogenins manage the inflammatory response, the alkaloids help communicate the calm down message, and the flavonoids extinguish the damaging sparks. This trio works in concert, which is why consuming the whole fruit or its extracts can be so effective. It's a holistic approach to calming inflammation, gifted to us by nature itself. Now that we've met the key players inside the Soursop, the acetogenins, alkaloids, and flavonoids, let's take the next logical step. Let's look at how this powerful team actually works inside your body to bring about relief. How does this natural fruit team calm the smoldering fire of chronic inflammation we discussed? To understand this, it's helpful to know a little about how some common over-the-counter anti-inflammatory medicines, like ibuprofen or aspirin, work. You see, when your body experiences inflammation, it produces specific enzymes. One of the most important ones is called COX-2. Think of the COX-2 enzyme as a factory foreman inside your cells whose job is to shout, start the inflammation, produce the pain signals. This foreman orders the production of compounds called prostaglandins, which are what directly cause the swelling, redness, and pain. Now, here is where modern science finds Soursop so fascinating. Laboratory studies suggest that the active compounds in Soursop, particularly the acetogenins and flavonoids, have a remarkable ability. They can gently but effectively inhibit the COX-2 enzyme. In our analogy, it's as if the Soursop compounds walk into the factory and calmly tell the foreman, it's okay, we can lower the volume now. Let's slow down production. They don't shut down the factory completely, because we still need some inflammation for healing, but they help regulate it, bringing it back from a harmful, chronic shout to a manageable whisper. This is a very targeted way to reduce inflammation at its source. But Soursop doesn't stop there. Remember the flavonoids are antioxidant firefighters? While the other compounds are managing the COX-2 foreman, the flavonoids are performing a crucial cleanup operation in the surrounding area. They are neutralizing those damaging free radicals we talked about. Free radicals are unstable molecules that crash into your healthy cells, causing damage that irritates tissues and actually triggers more inflammation. It's a vicious cycle. Inflammation creates free radicals, and free radicals create more inflammation. By mopping up these free radicals, the antioxidants in Soursop break this cycle. They protect your cells from further damage, creating a calmer environment where healing can occur. So, you see, it's a brilliant, two-pronged strategy. On one front, Soursop helps directly calm the inflammatory process by inhibiting key enzymes like COX-2. On the second front, it protects your cells from the collateral damage that fuels the flames. This dual action, both stopping new fires and putting out existing sparks, is what makes Soursop such a comprehensive and effective natural ally. It doesn't just mask the pain, it addresses the underlying biological processes causing it. Understanding the how is important, but what we all really want to know is, what does this mean for me? How can this translate into a tangible difference in our daily lives? This slide is about connecting those scientific dots to the experiences we know all too well. Let's talk about the specific benefits for senior health. Let's start with what is often the most pressing concern: joint pain and arthritis. For many of us, the stiffness in our knees, hips, and hands when we first get out of bed in the morning is a familiar, unwelcome greeting to the day. Or perhaps it's the ache that settles in after a walk, making us think twice about activities we once enjoyed. This is often the direct result of chronic inflammation wearing away at the cartilage and causing irritation in our joints. By consistently helping to lower that inflammatory response throughout the body, Soursop can lead to a noticeable reduction in that stiffness and pain. The goal isn't necessarily to run a marathon, but to make moving from a sitting to a standing position smoother, to walk to the mailbox with more ease, or to enjoy a hobby like gardening or knitting with less discomfort in your hands. It's about improving mobility and reclaiming the freedom of movement that is so vital to our independence. But the benefits extend beyond our joints to a more general sense of discomfort. Many of us live with a low-level, background hum of itchiness that we've almost accepted as normal. It's the feeling of just not being as comfortable in your own body as you used to be. By systematically calming inflammation, Soursop can help turn down the volume on that general hum. The result isn't just less pain. It's often a feeling of feeling more comfortable and at ease in your own skin. This leads to another critical benefit: support for our immune system. It might seem surprising, but chronic inflammation actually puts a constant strain on our immune defenses. It's like having an alarm system that's always going off. It exhausts the resources that should be saved for fighting real threats, like viruses and infections. The powerful antioxidants in Soursop help calm that false alarm, allowing our immune system to reset and function more efficiently. This means our bodies are better equipped to handle the actual germs we encounter, helping us stay healthier throughout the year. And when you combine all these benefits, less joint pain, reduced general discomfort, and a stronger immune system, what you get is the most important outcome of all: an enhanced quality of life. It's about having more energy because you're not constantly fighting pain. It's about the confidence to say yes to a lunch with friends or a day out with the grandchildren because you feel well enough to enjoy it. It's about investing in your wellness, not just for the sake of adding years to your life, but for adding more life to your years. Now, we've discussed some truly promising benefits, and it's easy to get excited about a natural solution. But this is the most critical part of our conversation today. With any powerful substance, whether from a pharmacy or from nature, we must approach it with knowledge and respect. Our motto for this slide is, without a doubt, safety first. It is my responsibility to share with you some very important research that has emerged. Scientists have discovered that parts of the Soursop plant, specifically the seeds, the bark, the stems, and the roots, contain a high concentration of a natural compound called annanasin. Now, when consumed in extremely large, concentrated amounts, far beyond what you would ever get from eating the fruit, this compound has been linked to a specific neurological concern. In laboratory studies on animals, very high doses over a long period have been associated with a neurological disorder that shares similarities with Parkinson's disease. This sounds alarming, and it is meant to be. But here is the absolutely crucial distinction that must be made. and I want you to listen carefully. This risk is associated with the concentrated, supplemental forms of the seeds, bark, and roots, not with eating the pulp of the fruit in normal food amounts. Let me be perfectly clear. Enjoying the sweet, creamy pulp of the Soursop fruit as an occasional snack or as a juice is generally considered safe based on its long history of traditional consumption. The level of annonacin in the pulp is significantly lower. The danger arises from consuming highly concentrated extracts, powders, or capsules made from the seeds or bark, often marketed as potent supplements, without proper medical supervision. This brings us to the most important action point on this slide. This is non-negotiable. You must consult your doctor before making Soursop a regular part of your wellness routine, especially in any supplemental form. Why is this so vital? Firstly, your doctor knows your unique health history. Secondly, Soursop's active compounds can interact with certain medications. For example, because it may have hypotensive properties, it could potentially amplify the effect of blood pressure medication. It could also interact with blood thinners or diabetes medications. Your doctor is the only one who can help you navigate these potential interactions safely. Our goal is wellness, and that must be built on a foundation of safety. The message is simple. Enjoy the fruit, avoid the concentrated seeds and supplements, and always talk to your doctor. This ensures that any step you take is a step toward better health, not an unintended risk. Thank you for taking that crucial safety information so seriously. It empowers us to now focus on the enjoyable and safe ways to welcome Soursop into our lives. Knowing what to avoid allows us to confidently explore what to embrace. So, let's talk about the how. How can you practically and safely experience the potential benefits we've discussed? The golden rule, and by far the safest and most recommended option, is to enjoy Soursop in the way nature most obviously intended, as a food. Specifically, to consume the fresh, creamy pulp of the fruit itself. Think of it as you would any other nutritious fruit, a mango, a pineapple, or a papaya. You can simply scoop the soft, white flesh out of the skin with a spoon, being mindful to avoid the black seeds. Enjoy a small bowl as a refreshing and exotic treat. This method gives you all the beneficial compounds in their natural, balanced state, with a minimal concentration of any concerning substances. It's nature's perfect packaging. Now, for many of us, finding a fresh Soursop might be a challenge depending on where we live. A wonderful and widely available alternative is to drink 100% pure Soursop juice. But here, we must be smart shoppers. When you're at the grocery store, turn the bottle around and read the label carefully. Look for key phrases like 100% pure, no added sugar, or not from concentrate. Avoid juices that list Soursop low on the ingredients list, followed by water, sugar, or corn syrup. You want the real, pure juice to ensure you're getting the benefits without the downside of extra sugar, which can itself promote inflammation. Another gentle and traditional method is to enjoy Soursop leaf tea. The leaves contain many of the active compounds, but in a different balance than the seeds. When prepared as a light, aromatic tea, by steeping a few dried leaves in hot water, it is generally considered safe for occasional consumption. It's a soothing way to wind down in the evening. The overarching principle that ties all these methods together is moderation. This cannot be overstated. Soursop is not a miracle cure to be consumed in large quantities every day. It is a healthy dietary addition, a supportive player in your overall wellness strategy. Think of it as adding a new, powerful ingredient to your anti-inflammatory diet, not as a replacement for your existing meals or medical treatments. By choosing these simple, whole food forms and enjoying them in sensible amounts, you can safely explore the potential of this remarkable fruit. Now, we've learned about the specific, targeted actions of Soursop. It's a powerful natural tool. But if we zoom out for a moment, we see that true, lasting wellness is never achieved through a single ingredient alone. It's like building a sturdy house. You can have the most beautiful front door in the world, but if the foundation, walls, and roof aren't strong, the house won't stand. Think of Soursop as that beautiful, supportive front door. It's a wonderful point of entry, but it must be part of a solid, well-built structure. That structure is your overall lifestyle. Soursop works best not in isolation, but as part of a symphony of healthy habits. Its anti-inflammatory effects are significantly amplified when it's combined with other choices that support your body's natural balance. This is what we call a holistic approach. So, what does this symphony look like? Let's talk about the other essential instruments. First, a balanced, anti-inflammatory diet. This means building your meals around colorful vegetables, leafy greens, whole grains, and fatty fish rich in omega-3s, like salmon. Imagine Soursop working alongside these other anti-inflammatory foods, creating a powerful cumulative effect that far exceeds what any one food can do alone. Next, and this is absolutely crucial, is gentle, regular exercise. When we move our bodies, we aren't just strengthening muscles, we are actively fighting inflammation. A daily walk, water aerobics, tai chi, or light stretching helps lubricate joints, pump inflammatory markers out of tissues, and release our body's natural pain-relieving endorphins. Soursop can help reduce the stiffness that might keep you from starting, and that movement, in turn, makes the Soursop even more effective. They're a team. We must also include proper hydration. Water is the river that carries nutrients to our cells and flushes out toxins and inflammatory waste products. Dehydration can concentrate inflammation and increase pain. And finally, we cannot overlook the profound healing power of quality sleep. It is during deep sleep that our body performs its most critical repair work, calming inflammation and restoring itself. When you combine the targeted support of Soursop with these foundational habits, you create a powerful synergy. You're not just taking a supplement, you're cultivating an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. You are addressing the issue from every possible angle, through what you eat, how you move, how you hydrate, and how you rest. This comprehensive strategy is the most effective path to reducing chronic inflammation and enhancing your vitality for the long term. Soursop is a valuable piece of this puzzle, but your daily choices put the whole, beautiful picture together. As we near the end of our journey today, let's take a moment to bring all these pieces together into a clear and actionable summary. My goal is for you to leave here feeling confident about the key messages, so let's review the most important takeaways. First and foremost, we began by understanding the silent challenge many of us face: chronic inflammation. We learned that it's not the same as the helpful, short-term inflammation from a cut, but rather a slow, smoldering fire within the body that contributes significantly to the joint pain, stiffness, and general discomfort that can accompany our golden years. Recognizing this was our essential first step. Next, we were introduced to our natural ally, the Soursop fruit. We discovered it's not a new, scientific concoction, but a traditional remedy with a long history of use, prized for its unique combination of powerful compounds. We then dove into the science, learning how its key components, like acetogenins, alkaloids, and flavonoids, work as a team. They function by inhibiting inflammatory enzymes like COX-2 and neutralizing damaging free radicals, providing a dual-action approach to calming inflammation at the source. The most exciting part was connecting this science to your daily life. We discussed how these actions can translate into tangible benefits for senior health, reducing joint pain and arthritis stiffness, alleviating general aches, supporting the immune system, and ultimately, enhancing your overall quality of life by promoting greater mobility and comfort. However, we then arrived at our most critical conversation: Safety. It is absolutely vital to remember that while the pulp of the fruit is generally safe to consume in normal food amounts, you must avoid concentrated extracts from the seeds, bark, and roots due to potential neurological risks. This leads to our most important rule: always consult your doctor before making any significant change, especially if you are on medication. Therefore, the safe path forward is to enjoy Soursop in moderation as part of a holistic approach to health. Think of it as a valuable piece of your wellness puzzle, working best when combined with a balanced anti-inflammatory diet, gentle regular exercise, proper hydration, and quality sleep. So, in conclusion, Soursop represents a promising, natural path to managing inflammation. It empowers you with a choice to explore a gentle, dietary approach to feeling better, provided it is done safely and wisely, in partnership with your healthcare provider. And so, we arrive at our final slide. On behalf of myself and everyone involved in preparing this talk, I want to offer you my most sincere thanks. Thank you for your valuable time, for your attentive presence, and for your open-mindedness in exploring this natural approach to wellness with me. It is a true privilege to share this information with you, and your engagement throughout has been deeply appreciated. We have covered a considerable amount of ground together, from the biology of inflammation to the specific compounds within a tropical fruit, and most importantly, how to approach it all with safety and wisdom at the forefront. I hope you leave this room feeling not just informed, but genuinely empowered with knowledge that you can discuss confidently with your family, your friends, and most importantly, your doctor. Now, I am certain that after such a detailed presentation, questions may have arisen. Perhaps something I said sparked a curiosity you'd like to explore further. Maybe you're thinking of a personal health situation and wondering, how might this apply to me? Or you might have a very practical question, like, where can I even find a fresh Soursop in our local area? This time is now dedicated entirely to you. This is your opportunity to ask anything at all. No question is too simple or too complex. If I don't have the answer immediately available, I will be honest with you and make it my mission to find out.